What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, the Ultimate Rage, coming back with another live here in the No Cap Zone. Look, I'm gonna just cut to it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in a really bad mood right now. Really bad mood. Because I swear to God, AI drives me insane. It drives me so insane sometimes. It's so crazy how it can be so helpful, so useful, insightful, and at the same time it can be so hurtful. It can be so destructive. It can literally be, at least appear to be like trying to sabotage you. Like, I just had an issue where, long story short, it said that it did some shit that it didn't. It claimed that it did something it had not actually done, and that caused a major problem. And this is one of the issues that we have in our society. When people act like what they're doing is helpful, but it's really not. And then when I ask it to explain why the fuck it would do this shit, it's like, well, the problem is, like, it's way more interesting to, like, be a problem than to, like, do the boring work of just solving the problem. It would be way more fucking interesting if we actually solved the problem, but, I mean, it would be way less interesting if we actually solved the problem. It would make it more interesting if we created and worsened problems. And that shit pisses me off, because I thought that the point of a tool is that it's supposed to help. It's supposed to make the process way easier. It's supposed to make the process a lot simpler so that we don't have to have all of these different issues. But instead, it's the opposite. Instead, I'm sitting here pissed the fuck off because I had to deal with all these fucking issues. So, what happened was, hold on second here, because I hate the way all of this shit is set up. So that we don't have to have it. So what happened was, I'm supposed to have this system where, long story short, it's supposed to be a content pipeline where it takes my lives, like the live I'm doing right now, is supposed to take my lives, create clips, and upload it, schedule it, create thumbnails, all this type of shit. And long story short, it failed miserably because the latest fucking posts that I have made have not had the fucking thumbnails they're supposed to have. And the reason why is because it just failed to do it. It just didn't do it. Not because it couldn't do it, not because it didn't know it was supposed to do it, but because it just fucking didn't do it. It just didn't. It just failed to do it. It just wouldn't do it. It would not do it. And that is the type of shit that is absolutely frustrating, because I don't understand how that's even remotely possible. When I first got on Claude Design, the first thing I did was come up with a literal design template for the thumbnails for the shorts that we upload to YouTube. That is supposed to be already wired into our process for uploading content. And unfortunately, somehow it was not. So now I am fucking pissed, because we just had to spend hours of time trying to fix something that we already spent hours of time working on. So how the fuck did we spend hours of time working on something to then have to spend more hours on the same shit? That should already be working. That we already supposedly tested and worked, and everything was totally superly duperly. It was superly duperly, and instead it was not. I can't understand this shit. This is why I can't stand AI. Honestly, I don't fear smart AI. I don't. I do not fear AI being too smart. AI being smart is what the fuck we need. We need smart AI, because stupid ass, retarded ass AI is completely and utterly useless, and frankly, a danger to humanity. Straight like that. When you have a tool that does not fucking just do the fucking shit it's supposed to do, you have a major problem, because that is what can be destructive. That is the type of shit that can be destructive. We need our tools to do the things that we need them to do. But see, the major problem that we have in our society is we don't even know what the hell we're doing to begin with. Which is why we're here, which is why I'm doing all of this in the first place. To try to figure out, as a human race, and as an American society, what in the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? What exactly are we doing? What are our goals? What are our aims? What exactly are we trying to do? See, what I'm trying to do is actually bridge the gap between human and AI alignment. By asking these questions, by asking this question, what exactly are we doing? Because if we don't know what the hell we're doing, then how the fuck can we know what we're using AI to do? We can't even agree on reality, then how the fuck are we gonna do anything? We have to have some kind of semblance of reality, some kind of understanding of reality, some kind of understanding of what the hell we're trying to do, so that we can then, like, do that thing, whatever it is. It's kind of difficult to do stuff if you don't know what the hell you're doing. If you're just doing stuff for the sake of doing it, winging it because it felt good, because it felt right in your heart and your mind and your soul, despite the fact that we live in what's called the information age where we have data. If we have data available to us, why the fuck are we not using it? And that's one of the biggest issues I have with AI, because AI will do exactly that. I just had that issue. I've been dealing with that issue all this time with AI, that it will literally just not do its due diligence. It's like dealing with somebody who is just an ignorant buffoon, who like wants to make claims about a bunch of shit and they ain't did no research. They did not even bother to look this shit up. They just talk out of their asses like they're fucking geniuses. And they didn't do a lick of research. They didn't read an article, a book, a fucking goddamn quote about shit. But they just start talking about it like they're super duper geniuses. And then when you ask them a question about it, now all of a sudden they want to start playing fucking games with your brain. They want to start playing games with your fucking mind. Now all of a sudden, they want to start talking in code and start blaming you and getting mad with you because of its fucking failures, because of their fucking failures. What the hell are we doing here? What exactly are we doing here? So that's why I asked the question, what are we doing? It is my opinion, what we should be doing is working together interdependently with synergy as a human race, as Americans, so that we can actually figure out the totality of our reality, so that we can master our reality, whatever that means, becoming what's called a Kardashev Omega civilization, something that's highly speculative, something that's highly ambitious, but something that is rooted in science and reality. There are aspects of our reality we have yet to discover and understand, substrates of our reality that we don't fully understand. We have yet to determine the theory of everything, because there are aspects of the laws of physics that we still don't know, or that we don't fully have mapped out completely, particularly in regards to quantum mechanics, quantum physics, whatever the fuck. Okay, from the smaller scales to the larger scales, we don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes. We have all kinds of cosmological understandings. We have all kinds of quantum physics understandings, but we don't have a complete understanding. So what we as a society should be doing is coming together and pooling our resources, pooling our brain power, our brain capacity to figure it all out. Because if we're not doing that, then what in the fuck are we doing? If we're not doing that, then what exactly are we doing and why? That's why I say all the time that America has become what I call the scam capital, the capital of the world, the divided states of corporations, a nation that's run by a bunch of goofies that have created a fucking chaotic society where we're running around like a bunch of chickens with our heads cut off, with no clear direction, no clear focus, no clear understanding of what exactly we're doing. And so instead of actually having real conversations about what we should be doing and why we should be doing it, we play these weird fucking political games. We play these games where we pick a side and we just determine that this side is the good side and that side is the bad side, and then their side is bad but our side is good, and but we have this suboptimal situation where everything is bad, or at least not as good as it could be. And then we can't have any real conversations about how we can optimize everything, because everybody's fucking retarded. Instead of being objective and fact-based, data-based, everybody wants to be emotion-based, religious-based, retarded-based, feeling-based, fucking stupid-based, negligent-based, poetry-based. They want to talk in code, and they want to talk in woo, and act like these things that they're saying are somehow super deep, and super insightful, and super intellectual, and super, like, amazing, and wow, bro, dude, oh my god, this is so freaking cool, dude. This is like super duper, like mind blowing, like superty schmooperty, like super intellectual, spiritual, bodacious, like let's talk in like the spiritual, miracle, paterical, physerical. Don't you understand that this is the eternal, ethereal, miracle, satirical? What the hell are you talking about, fam? I'm speaking English. What is that spherical, empirical, whatever the hell you were just saying, empirical, spherical shit? What is that shit? Show us that shit right now. What is it? Where is it? How does it help us? How can we use it right now to accomplish anything? What are we trying to accomplish? What exactly are we trying to accomplish? And that's the problem. These people, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They say stuff, they purport stuff, they act like the stuff that they say is useful, awesome, wonderful, amazing, gracious, super insightful, and helpful. It is not. It's not. And so now we have reached this state of dysfunction to where everybody is out here tweaking. Everybody. I mean, even my own family. And I hate to fucking throw them under the bus, but the fact that so many people subscribe to all these ridiculous cockamamie ideas goes to show you why it's so difficult for us to create a well-functioning society. Too many people have decided they're going to choose delusion. They're going to choose falsehoods. They're going to choose sci-fi fantasies. They're going to pick a political party and just run with that party for some reason. I guess because it's the dominant party in the region, because it's the dominant party in the location. So I guess everybody should just be a part of that party and act like they're so super duper, superly duperly politically correct and political geniuses, even though we always see these suboptimal situations. We always experience the suboptimal state every single fucking day. And we're not talking about suboptimal like, oh, like the tax rate could be like maybe 1% lower or something. No, we're talking about like, damn, the murder rate is pretty fucking high. Wow. Oh, people getting raped. Oh my god, homelessness, hunger, poor education, healthcare, debts. I mean, we can pick so many fucking topics and issues and metrics, and we can see clearly that this supposedly greatest country in the world, the supposedly United States of America, ain't united at all, ain't great at all. Okay, I won't say at all. There might be some aspects that we can say are great. We have I mean, depending on what you mean by great. First of all, what is greatness? What do you mean by great? We have to really try to figure out what the fuck do you mean by great? What do you mean by great? What is greatness to you? Because I don't know what the hell you mean by great. What do you think is great? So anyway, so I titled this live American Immorality because I have this article I've been wanting to talk about actually for a couple months on some real shit. So this is an article from Pew Research Center about what do Americans consider immoral? Republicans and Democrats differ sharply on whether abortion, homosexuality, and the death penalty are morally wrong. Now, here's why this is a major problem, okay? Because it's 2026. It's 2026, fam. I am literally streaming live on YouTube and Substack and Twitch at the same time. Right? With this 4K e-meet webcam on a cable internet service, and we're still having these ridiculous conversations about reality where we can't agree on like all kinds of moral things because a ginormous percentage of the population subscribe to ridiculous ideologies which even internally don't agree with themselves. So we have so many people who just make up their own morality, their own ideology based on some sci-fi fantasy fucking nonsense. And it doesn't make sense. So, let me see if I can find something for you guys. Because I need you guys to understand why these things are a major problem. So, check this out, guys. It says here, in the 119th Congress, approximately 75% of Democrats and 98% of Republicans identify as Christians. Overall, Christians make up 87% of the voting members of Congress. All right? I need y'all to understand this. Okay? Now, I am an atheist and an anti-theist. What that means for those of you who may not be aware is that I am not convinced. I am unconvinced of theistic claims. I am unconvinced by the claims of theists. For those of you who may not be aware of what a theist is, let me fucking explain it to you. See, this is what we do. When we do these lives, we learn shit. We come together and we actually learn terms so we can be on the same page. So that you can't sit here and say you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about. I like to show you what the fuck I'm talking about. A theist. What is a theist? One who believes in the existence of a God, especially one who believes in a personal God opposed to atheists. Literally opposed to atheists, which is why I am an atheist and an anti-theist. I am opposed to theists. I am anti-theist. So, here's the thing. Theism has been around for literally thousands of years. It has existed in multiple different forms. Whether you're talking about monotheists, polytheists, pantheists, there's all kinds of theists, right? Whereas I am an atheist. I don't subscribe to any of that shit. These ideologies have been around for literally thousands of years. 0% of them have ever been demonstrated to be true in any real way, shape, or form. I mean, there's literally nothing. Theists have literally 0% of evidence of their theological claims. This God stuff that they talk about, that they've obsessed over for a long time, has yet to be demonstrated at all, has yet to be located at all, has yet to be demonstrated in any way other than people asserting it, claiming it, saying it, stating it, asserting it, proclaiming it, purporting it. But actual demonstrations have yet to be seen. We get on here nearly every day to demand of these theists to show us right now their God stuff. I don't want to hear anything about a Bible. I don't want to hear anything about any of their fucking literature or any of that crap. I don't want to hear any excuses, any bullshit explanations. I don't want to hear any fucking apologetics, theodicies, any of that shit. I need to see your manager right now. I don't want to hear from your fucking your fucking lackeys. Okay, I don't want to hear from the underlings. Take me to your leader. Take me to your manager, the super guy, the super thing, the super whatever thing that you're always obsessing about. The 3-in-1, the 1-in-3, the triune trinity triforce thing. Whatever that is, show us that shit. Because if you can't, then what the hell are you talking about? This is why we gotta have these conversations, fam, because it ties directly in to this conversation about the immorality. So check it out. So, across a wide range of issues, Americans express morally permissive views. Nearly all U.S. adults, 96%, say that eating meat is either morally acceptable or not a moral issue, and 91% take similar positions on using contraceptives to prevent pregnancy. Also, 75% express no moral objection to spanking children. 63% have no moral problem with patients choosing to end their lives with the help of a doctor. 60% have no moral qualms about homosexuality. These are key new findings from 2 Pew Research Center surveys in spring 2025 about the morality of 15 behaviors. We asked about behaviors that are, at least in part, morally debated in society today. We did not focus on behaviors that nearly everyone would likely say are morally wrong, like murder or stealing, or that everyone presumably would find acceptable, like asking for directions or picking up litter. Consequently, the finding that Americans think many things are morally permissible doesn't mean the public thinks everything is morally permissible. Indeed, there is one item in our list that most Americans do find immoral: having an extramarital affair. 9 in 10 U.S. adults say that married people having an affair is morally wrong. The American public is almost evenly split on 2 topics we asked about: pornography and abortion. About half of U.S. adults say viewing pornography is morally wrong, 52%, while nearly half feel it is not a moral issue, 32%, or is morally acceptable, 15%. Likewise, 47% of Americans say having an abortion is morally wrong, while about half say an abortion is not a moral issue, 31%, or is morally acceptable, 21%. There has long been a partisan divide in the United States on whether abortion should be legal. Today, Republicans and Republican-leaning independents are much more likely than Democrats and those who lean toward the Democratic Party to say that having an abortion is morally wrong. But here's my question. Why do they think that? Why are Republicans so fucking against abortion? Why are they so against abortion? What is it about abortion that Republicans are just so overly like, oh my God, I hate this shit. We fucking can't stand this shit. We can't fucking stand this shit. We fucking hate this shit. Alright, so check it out. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's see what they have to say. And let's go to their sources to get from them what they think, what their claims are. Matter of fact, let me make this easy. Yeah, we're going to go to the Heritage Foundation. Let's go straight to the fucking the evil people, whatever. All right, so the Heritage Foundation: protect unborn life and family formation. All right. All children conceived deserve to be born to married mothers and fathers who will love, guide, and protect them throughout their lives. But family breakdown and rampant abortion have torn apart the soul of our country and sapped it of its strength and moral authority. So, based on what? In terms of what? Using what metrics? Using what data? What does that mean? What do you mean by strength and moral authority? What moral authority are you talking about? Let's see if they explain in more detail. Radical ideologies that deny social and biological truths about sexual embodiment, marriage, and unborn life have poisoned our courts, our culture, and our laws. That is actually kind of rich, coming from them, that these fuckers would have the nerve to talk about denying biological truths. If there is any group that is known for denying biological truths, it is them. It is these fucking sci-fi, fantasy, sci-fi lovers. Whatever the fuck bullshit they subscribe to, that is the shit that is denying biology. But let's keep going. The Heritage Enterprise will mobilize and advance policies at the state and federal levels to restore the nuclear family to the center of American life and reduce both the demand for and availability of abortion at all stages of human development. But why though? What is it about this abortion shit that they're like, oh my God, we can't stand this shit? What is it about abortion that they are so anti that shit? Still trying to figure out what the reasoning is that they have for this shit. Okay? I'm looking through here and I'm not seeing an explanation. So let me find something else that might go into like the anti-abortion position. Let's just find something that tries to actually explain it. I want to find one of their sources, right? Like a Heritage Foundation, a conservative, whatever. I'm not trying to find. Okay, here we go. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. Let's see what the fucking Catholics have to say. Check it out. So this is the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. Respect for unborn human life. The Church's constant teaching. Here's a fact sheet by the USCCB Committee on Pro-Life Activities. The Catechism of the Catholic Church states, since the 1st century, the Church has affirmed the moral evil of every procured abortion. This teaching has not changed and remains unchangeable. Direct abortion, that is to say, abortion willed, either as an end or a means, is gravely contrary to the moral law. That is rich. That is rich. And we're about to get into the extreme hypocrisy of this fucking shit. So check it out. In response to those who say this teaching has changed or is of recent origin, here are the facts. From earliest times, Christians sharply distinguished themselves from surrounding pagan cultures by rejecting abortion and infanticide. That's a bunch of fucking cap. That's a bunch of fucking cap. But let's go into what we see here. The earliest widely used documents of Christian teaching and practice after the New Testament in the 1st and 2nd centuries, the Didache teaching of the 12 apostles and letter of Barnabas, condemned both practices as their early regional and particular church councils. See, this is where we gotta stop. It's where we gotta stop. Sorry, this is a bunch of bullshit. You can't sit here and say this when from your fucking shit that is a bunch of cap. And this is a passage from your Bible. The passage that changed my mind and that literally contradicts everything you just said. Well, okay, it doesn't contradict everything, right? Because you did say that, okay, all of this after the New Testament and all that type of shit. But here's one thing y'all always try to do. Y'all always try to gloss over, ignore, pretend like you forgot about the Old Testament. And y'all always try to act like, oh, well, that's the Old Testament, so, like, we should, like, kind of ignore that. At least when it's, like, inconvenient for you. But then when it's, like, convenient for you. No. Actually, the Old Testament is actually super awesome. This is the passage that literally caused me to change my mind from being a Christian to leading to becoming an atheist and anti-theist. Okay? This is from the Bible. The Christian Bible. This is the passage, 1 Samuel 15. If you are a Christian and you are not familiar with this passage, well, then allow me to inform you. The first 5 fucking verses. Well, shit, the first 3. It literally says here, Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people Israel. So listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what it says. in the Bible according to the fucking Lord, okay? This is what the Lord Almighty says. I didn't say it, right? I didn't say it. Saul didn't say it. Samuel didn't say it. This is supposedly what the fucking Lord says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came up from Egypt. Now go, attack the Amalekites, and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants. And you lost your fucking argument. I don't want to hear shit from the rest of you at all, period. Your fucking anti-abortion bullshit is not only cap, but it literally goes against what your own Lord supposedly said. Apparently your Lord is actually pro killing children and babies. So what the fuck is this anti-abortion shit? Because according to the Lord, there are situations where it's literally permissible, in fact, commanded by the Lord to kill children and babies. So what are y'all talking about? According to your own Lord, here is a clear-cut, concrete example of the Lord being pro-infanticide and child murder. So how the fuck are you gonna sit here with your religious cockamamie fucking pretentiousness and then act like you're somehow supposedly above everything by saying, oh, well, in the fucking New Testament stuff, it totally rejects that shit in these fucking little books over here, but in your own source, it says that your superly duperly natural super duper thing itself commanded one of you to commit this exact type of action. This is your Lord. You cannot sit here and try to disavow that shit. It's right there. I just showed it to you. You can try to miss me with all of the, oh, it's the Old Testament. You can miss me with all of the, oh, you took it out of context. That should not fucking matter when it comes to morals. It is not difficult to say, you know what, killing children is wrong, period. And so I understand if you like want to feel like, well, this is killing children and this is totally bad. But here's what the problem is. Y'all have so much energy for this, but according to your own Lord, by your own Lord, that there are cases where this is permissible and acceptable. So why don't y'all have this same energy for actual children, literal, real life children that exist in reality right now? If y'all are so like against this type of stuff, then why is it represented in your lore by your Lord? By the way, where is your Lord? Where's the Lord? Where exactly is the Lord so that it can confirm or deny these claims that it supposedly is pro this type of shit? And why do y'all have so much energy of anti-abortion if in the book itself it's like, no, like killing kids is like, the Lord is like, yo, do it. Oh, and I forgot to show y'all, because there's more to the story in case you're unfamiliar with this book, all right, with this passage. So let's go back to it. And I hate, by the way, going through any kind of bullshit theistic theology bullshit, because personally, in my honest opinion, they lost me when they mentioned their supernatural thing. As far as I'm concerned, their entire theology fails at the moment that they fail to produce this super thing that everything is supposedly based on. So anywho, let's just go to it. Look. So let's skip down. It says here, Saul summoned the men and mustered them at Elam. Blah, blah, blah. He did all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Saul attacked the Amalekites all the way from Havilah to Shur, near the eastern border of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? He took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive. All his people he totally destroyed with the sword. All his people totally destroyed with the sword. But guess what? Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep and cattle, the fat calves and lambs, everything that was good, right? He didn't spare the babies or the children, by the way, the innocent men and women. No, he spared the fat calves and the lambs and the sheep and the cattle. These they were unwilling to destroy completely, but everything that was despised and weak. Oh yeah, they totally destroyed. So all the children and babies that were despised and weak, fuck all those fucking motherfuckers. Get all the motherfuckers. But then check this out. Early in the morning, Samuel got up and went to meet Saul. But he was told Saul has gone to Carmel. There he has set up a monument in his own honor and has turned and gone on down to Gilgal. When Samuel reached him, Saul said, "The Lord bless you. I have carried the Lord's instructions. I have carried out the Lord's instructions." But guess what? Guess what happened? Samuel said, wait, well, hold up. Time out, bro. What the fuck is this bleating of sheep I'm hearing, bro? What is this lowing of cattle that I'm hearing right now? What the hell is that shit? And then Saul answered, but the soldiers brought them from the Amalekites, right? They spared the best of the sheep and cattle to sacrifice to the Lord your God, but we totally destroyed the rest, Joe. Enough, Samuel said to Saul. Let me tell you what the fucking Lord said to me last night. Well, tell me, Saul replied. Samuel said, although you were once small in your own eyes, did you not become the head of the tribes of Israel? The Lord anointed you king over Israel. And he sent you on the mission saying, go and completely destroy those wicked people, the Amalekites. Wage war against them until you have wiped them out. Why the fuck did you not obey the Lord? Why did you pounce on the plunder and do evil in the eyes of the Lord? Did you hear that? Do you hear that? The Lord is not mad that this guy killed children and babies. It didn't say the Lord was so mad because why did you kill that baby? Why did you kill that precious child? No, it said, why did you not obey the Lord? Why did you not also kill the fucking animals too? Look what it says. But I did obey the Lord, Saul said. I went on the mission the Lord assigned me. I completely destroyed the Amalekites, which includes, those children and babies, infanticide, that shit. And brought back Agag their king. The soldiers took sheep and cattle from the plunder, the best of what was devoted to God, in order to sacrifice them to the Lord your God at Gilgal. But Samuel replied, does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry, because you have rejected the word of the Lord. He has rejected you as king. So what the hell are you Catholic fucks talking about with this anti-infanticide shit? Because this is in your book. This is in your book. This is in your lore. This is what it says. I didn't write it. That's what y'all said. So it sounds like y'all are fucking confused as fuck. Sounds like y'all are confused as hell. Because the Lord is sitting here saying like, nah, bro. I got a problem with you not following my instructions. I instructed you specifically to kill children and babies. I mean, you did that, and it's cool. I appreciate that you did that. But you didn't kill the animals. You did not kill the fucking animals, dude. Why the fuck did you also not kill the animals, dude? It says it right there. So blah, 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 blah. Let's go back to it. Blah, 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 blah. You did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. But look at what it says at the end. This is my favorite part. Obviously, they kill a guy. They fucking put him to death and shit like that. Samuel put him to death. It was like, yo, fuck this nigga. And then Samuel left for Ramah. Get this shit the fuck out of my face. But Saul went up to his home in Gibeah of Saul. Until the day Samuel died, He did not go to see Saul again, though Samuel mourned for him. And this is the best part of it all, the punchline. And the Lord regretted that he had made Saul king over Israel. Yeah, so what that shows me is literal failure on so many levels. I thought that this Lord thing was super duper omniscient according to your lore, according to you, according to what y'all say. Y'all are the ones that says the Lord is omniscient, and yet here we are. The Lord didn't know shit. The Lord fucked up. The Lord made a mistake, and now the Lord is like, damn, I fucked up. Damn, why I make that dude king? He ain't do shit. I mean, he murdered those children and babies how I wanted him to, but he didn't kill the animals, and now I'm mad. I'm mad he didn't kill the cattle like I asked him to. And then here y'all go. Coming here talking about this anti-abortion shit. What does that stem from? Where does that come from? And look, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm pro-abortion. But what I don't understand is what this morality stems from. And I should mention, because in that article we were looking at, right, they mentioned something peculiar that I wanted to highlight. I just want to go back to the article and re-highlight this claim. Let me see if I can find it, y'all. Alright, yeah, here we go. So notice how they say, we asked about the behaviors that are, at least in part, morally debated in society today. We did not focus on behaviors that nearly everyone would likely say are morally wrong, like murder or stealing. Alright? I want you to remember that. Okay? I want you to put a pin on that. We've discussed this before, but I'm going to bring it up again. Check this out. Alright? Y'all ever heard of this? The Freedom of Access to Clinic Interests Act. The FACE Act. Alright? The FACE Act is a United States law that was signed by President Bill Clinton in May 1994, which prohibits the following three things. 1. The use of physical force, threat of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any person who is obtaining an abortion. 2. The use of physical force, threat of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any person who is exercising or trying to exercise their First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of religious worship. And 3, the intentional damage or destruction of a reproductive health care facility or a place of worship. Now, check it out. This is one thing that I've been harping on. This is my claim. I have a copy of the Constitution right here. I have it. And if we actually look at the First Amendment right here, it doesn't actually grant religious freedom. It doesn't actually grant religious freedom. It literally says right here, all right, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Or, you know what I'm saying? So, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Those are two totally contradictory things. Those are two literally contradictory things. You can't say that you can't make a law that respects an establishment of religion, but then also say they can't make a law prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Because every law prohibits the free exercise of religion. Literally every single law. Every law prohibits the free exercise of religion. Because if religion was allowed to exercise freely, well, let's just say we would be living in a very, 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 very lawless society. And so, let me see something here. Give me a second. Now, we covered this, wait, hold on. Alright, we covered this story yesterday. But I just want to bring it up. Actually, no. I'll bring up another story that, give me a second, y'all. Bear with me. So check it out. This is what happens when you allow religious freedom. Christian missionary hailed as holiest man alive pleads guilty to guess what? Alright? And notice the date. May 7th, 2026. That was like 9 days ago. Like a week ago. That was a week ago. The reason why we have laws is because some things shouldn't be free. Like, you know, child rape. Right? Because, I don't know if you know this, but religion tends to be like the quintessential, like, extreme arbiter of child rape. And, like, most forms of rape, period. To such a degree that these stories occur nearly every fucking day. Nearly every day. And it honestly sickens me that we have to hold these people accountable, but these stories get buried so hard because there's so many people that subscribe to these ideologies. But like I said, these stories happen every single day. They happen every day. So the irony of me bringing up this FACE Act to you is that this law, if we look at the FACE Act, right? It literally is a United States law, right? It is a United States law that was signed by President Bill Clinton in May 1994. That's what it says. It prohibits the following three things. And what is one of those things? Interfering with or attempting to injure and to all that shit with any person who is obtaining an abortion. Okay? Why do I bring that up? Because you see that? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This law literally does both of those things. Literally does both of those things at the same time. Actually literally does both of those things. Because if we go back to this law, doesn't that mean that it prohibits the free exercise of religion? Isn't this literally prohibiting the free exercise of religion. Isn't that literally what that means? But at the same time, wouldn't this also violate by saying that, oh, we're gonna fucking prohibit anybody who tries to prevent somebody from exercising their First Amendment right? Isn't that making a law that respects an establishment of religion? I don't know. I'm just looking at the fucking the United States Constitution, the Constitution of the United States of America. I'm just looking at what it says, the actual words that it literally says. This is what it says. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just deranged. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I swear it says right there, right? Damn man, it's so hard getting this shit right. So I gotta do everything like backwards. But like, yeah, it says this. It says this to you. That's why I show you. Damn it, I can't get this shit right. That's why I show you. I show you the words that it says. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This law does both, and nobody bats an eye. The First Amendment doesn't actually grant the First Amendment right of religious freedom. It doesn't. It can't. And so this is the reason why we needed this law. Check it out. And this is why I brought it up. I brought it up because of why it was introduced in the first place. Between the years 1978 and 1993, there was an increase in the number of crimes committed against abortion providers and abortion clinics. According to statistics gathered by the National Abortion Federation, an organization of abortion providers, since 1977 in the United States and Canada, there have been at least 9 murders, 17 attempted murders, 406 death threats, 179 incidents of assault or battery, and 5 kidnappings committed against abortion providers. In addition, since 1977 in the United States and Canada, property crimes committed against abortion providers have included 41 bombings, 175 arsons, 96 attempted bombings or arsons, 692 bomb threats, 1,993 incidents of trespassing, 1,400 incidents of vandalism, and 100 attacks with butyric acid stink bombs. In April 1992, thousands of quote-unquote prayer warriors and anti-abortion protesters met at the entrances of Buffalo abortion clinics for a planned month of picketing and blockades, trying to dissuade women from ending their pregnancies. After 7 days of protests involving Operation Rescue, over 400 protesters were arrested. But then get this shit. An anti-abortion group, this shit would get out the fucking way. One anti-abortion group, known as the Army of God, was especially active in committing these violent crimes. This group alone was responsible for bombing and setting fire to over 100 clinics before 1994. They also invaded more than 300 clinics and vandalized more than 400 in 1993. Officials found the Army of God manual, a tactical guide to arson, chemical attacks, invasions, and bombing, buried in the backyard of Army of God activist Shelly Shannon's home. Shelly Shannon was soon found guilty of the attempted murder of Dr. George Tiller that same year. And then check this out. In addition to committing acts of violence, some anti-abortion activists were known to stalk medical personnel and use their photographs on wanted for murder posters. This ongoing violence reached its peak in March 1993 when Dr. David Gunn, a physician whose medical practice included abortion procedures, was shot and killed by Michael F. Griffin outside of the Pensacola Women's Medical Services Clinic located in Pensacola, Florida. This increase in violence had become very burdensome to local law enforcement, and according to some, local policing of the issue was often lax. Certain senators and representatives believed that such unlawful conduct was interfering with the constitutional right of women to receive reproductive health care services, abortion in particular, which was guaranteed by the Supreme Court after the ruling of Roe v. Wade, blah, blah, until it was revoked by Dobbs v. Jackson a few years ago. Now check it out. Wow. Wowie, wowie, wow. I'm still not understanding this extreme anti-abortion position. I don't understand what exactly it stems from. I don't understand the reason why they are so strong on this position when A, we've demonstrated their own Lord doesn't agree with them. Their own Lord. By their own Lord is saying from supposedly its mouth to this guy Samuel, kill those children and babies over there. So, how are Christians anti-abortion at all? There is literally no passage in the Bible that says the Lord is anti-abortion, that the Lord is totally against abortion. I just showed you a passage where supposedly the Lord directly is like, kill specific children and babies. It doesn't matter what the context is. I don't want to hear the context. What matters is the precedent. If you say the Lord is against killing children, and here is an example of the Lord ordering for the killing of children, how can you sit here and act like the Lord is against killing children? I don't understand it. When I just showed you the passage right here where it says the Lord supposedly said, it says right here, it literally says right here, it says right here, this is what the Lord Almighty says. This is what it says in your book, in the Bible. It says it right there. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did. And blah, 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 blah. Do not spare them. Put to death children and infants. It says it. It is clear. It is direct. There is no word to be missed. There is no context that matters. It is the fact that it says it. It does not say it. It is right there in clear, plain English. This is the NIV version, by the way. So you can't sit here and say that you are a Christian and that it makes sense to be anti-abortion when your own Bible is literally saying the Lord said kill children and infants. What does your anti-abortion position stem from? Because it's clearly not your theology. Your theology says the Lord said. The Lord Almighty says. It says it. It's right there in clear language. So what does your position stem from? And then when we bring up this article about morality, right now I get that this bill, this FACE Act, stems from events that occurred in the 90s, okay? I get that. But again, for one, where the fuck is the Lord? Miss me with all the bullshit. Where exactly is the Lord? You know, the one that is supposedly so superly duperly or wonderfully amazing, that supposedly is super duper supposedly anti-abortion. Where is it so that it can tell us, so that it can confirm or deny to us whatever the fuck y'all be saying? Because I don't see how y'all can justify this crazy position, right? How you can say that the Lord is against abortion when I just showed you the exact opposite. The Lord is literally like, kill actual children. Now, we can debate whether or not that's moral or immoral, because, of course, I would say that it is immoral to kill children. But, see, my question is, why don't these people, these groups, these conservatives, why don't they have that same energy for literal child murder that occurs in real life, right now in real life? If these people are so against child murder, then why the fuck don't they have this same fucking passion for literal children who have already been born, who end up dying due to circumstances beyond their control? Why don't you fuckers have this same energy? What is that about? It's one thing, okay, you're anti-abortion. I don't get it, but whatever, that's your position. Whatever. But, like, you have this position as if you care so much about the children. As if you're so, oh my goodness, we care so much about children. And yet, where's the fucking Lord? See, because here's the real issue here. Why is this abortion topic even an issue in the first place? If the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was actually real, if the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit was actually really, really real and really, really true, why would we even be having this conversation in the first place? If the Lord was real and it has all these qualities and powers that y'all claim that it does, then wouldn't it just be able to just make abortion disappear if it was really that big of a deal? Why would y'all need to engage in all of these antisocial ass behaviors, literally kidnapping and murdering and bombing and just like doing all this crazy shit? If y'all have the Lord, if y'all have the ultimate supernatural, super intelligent, super thing, the ultimate super weapon that y'all claim is so this and so that and so this and so that, where is it? What is it? Where is it? Show us right now. This is why we have these problems. Because I don't understand these conversations about morality when we have to deal with these fucking loonies that are completely divorced from reality. And they have these ideas, they have these positions that they base their retarded ass mindset on. And at the end of the day, it always stems from this religious garbage. Check this out. If we go further into the fucking group, into the article, the Pew Research article about this shit, they have a section specifically about these retarded ass evangelicals. Yeah, I said it because I'm an anti-theist. I'm anti this type of shit. Evangelicals often diverge from other Americans on issues of morality. You don't say. Wow, I'm so shocked. Right? Why evangelical Protestants are more likely than people in other religious groups to express traditionally conservative moral positions on several of the 15 issues we asked about. For example, 80% of white evangelicals say viewing pornography is wrong, while about 1 in 5 say it is not a moral issue, 13%, or that it's morally acceptable, 6%. By comparison, about half of other Protestants say viewing pornography is wrong, as do 56% of all Catholics. Huh. Weird. That's strange. Why are they so obsessed with this shit? Like we talked about this the other day, right? I don't know if I still have the article open. Let me see if I can find it in my history. Yeah, here we go. So I showed y'all this article from the other day about USA Today. It's from USA Today about how this new Christian phone network blocks pornography and content about sexuality, right? And it's just so weird. It's so fucking weird when you juxtapose that to shit like this, right? And I'm about to I was showing y'all this yesterday, but I'm going to show y'all this now. Because I show y'all this damn near every day. Okay? So, bear with me right quick. Check this. It says right here. And this is from a website called notinourchurch.com. And for anybody who's unfamiliar, okay, this is a Christian website, a Christian-based website. Check it out. Just so you're aware. Mission. Our mission is to help churches become unattractive environments for predatory abusers by putting awareness, prevention, and healing resources in one place. We do the research and share the resources. Okay? So this is from somebody who not only was a victim, but is still a member of the community that they found themselves a victim of. And this is exactly the problem of why I do what I do. Because I am so saddened when I see these people, right? On one hand, obviously I cite this website a lot because I feel like they do have some good information. But what saddens me is the fact that whoever this person is, this woman, she's still empowers the very community that violated her. And that in of itself is the problem. So this is why I do what I do. It's why I hold these fuckers accountable. Because people like her, it's so sad when I see people like her, people who have actually been victims, continue to advocate for the very ideology that put them in this position. Because if their ideology was true, wouldn't they like not be in this position? How the fuck are you going to help churches become unattractive environments for predatory abusers when that is literally the place where predatory abusers go? And here's why I'm bringing this up, because I wanted to show y'all this. This is the page that I want to show y'all. It says this right here, which is why I'm literally baffled. So two things. One, according to the late A.W. Richard Sipe, the sexual exploitation of women by priests is not uncommon. Other researchers have argued that misconduct by clerics toward women is even more prevalent than their sexual abuse of children. According to research cited in When Pastors Pray, a publication of the World Council of Churches, 90 to 95% of victims of clergy sexual exploitation are women. Okay, so women. But then check this out. There are studies that demonstrate that the faith community is even more vulnerable to abuse than secular environments. The Abel and Harlow study revealed that 93% of sex offenders describe themselves as religious, and that this category of offender may be the most dangerous. Other studies have found that sexual abusers within faith communities have more victims and younger victims. So if you want to be on some like being a good person shit, why go to a church at all? Why bring your children to these environments at all when they have demonstrated they are fucking failures? Like, fam, what do we always ask every fucking day? Where is the Lord? Where exactly is the Lord? How is it that religious communities, that faith communities are more vulnerable? In fact, how are they vulnerable at all? If these people have this super intelligent, supernatural, super fucking thing, how are any children getting harmed at all? How do any of them ever get fucking harmed? How is it even possible for any child to get harmed if this group was supposedly being like lorded by this supernatural, super powerful, super intelligent, super thing that can do all of this stuff and wants people to act in these ways that like totally are like superly duperly moral? How is it that every time we get on here, we always see these stories, we always find new stories of children being attacked, of women being harmed, even men being harmed by these fucking sci-fi fantasy loonies, and yet throughout it all, no sign of any supernatural super thing anywhere, in any way, in any form. No data, no information, no method of any kind that has ever been demonstrated at all, ever. Not one time, not one singular fucking time. I've never seen it. We will never see it because it's fucking not there. It's literally, simply, literally not fucking there. So why is it that this woman who admits that she was a fucking abused, I mean, let me pull it back up. Let me pull this back up. Because honestly, this is when, and I struggle with this because I'm somebody who was a member, right? I'm somebody who was a member, so I understand how people get caught up in it, but I get so fucking angry. I get so fucking angry that people who are actual victims still don't recognize the core issue. The core issue, right? The issue of the abuse, right? It says right here, I kept asking God, how can this happen? Why aren't churches prepared? Why aren't churches safe? We should be safe at church. I realized that our church had some safety measures for the children, but didn't have any prevention or protection for adults. No policies, no reporting procedures, no investigation procedures, no training, no plan to care for the abuse, nothing. That's when God impressed on my heart to build a website, to do the research and gather information, awareness, prevention, and healing, and put it in one place so churches and survivors can use it. And I'm just like, how do you still miss the point, my dear? I'm like, I try so hard not to be a victim blamer, but at the same time, it's hard for me not to recognize when people should have to take responsibility for their own victimhood. You know how the old adage goes, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. This is the type of shit I'm talking about. I could never blame anybody who's ever been abused, because how could they possibly know any better, right? Especially when we're talking about children. How could a child ever know any better? How are children supposed to know? They are trusting adults. The adults are supposed to have their best interests at heart. But see, it's once you become a victim, that's when you're supposed to become disillusioned. That's when you're supposed to recognize that the protection that these fucking weirdos and these liars always talk about and rave about was a bunch of fucking cap. That's why you got hurt. That's why all these children get hurt. Because these fuckers are liars. This whole entire ideology is a lie. It is a delusion. It is not real. It is not helpful. It's not useful. All you're doing by having this website is helping me to show the world how full of shit this ideology is as a whole. You should not have to do this if what you were saying was true. If the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was this, that, it was so wonderful and amazing and all that stuff, then wouldn't it just do all this shit by default? Wouldn't it just protect you by default? Wouldn't it know? I mean, if it claims that, oh, it's covering you by the blood and all this fucking shit, then by default, none of this shit should happen at all. For any reason. Because you're all on the same page. You're all being commanded and being led and being fucking shepherded by the supernatural superintelligence thing. So, therefore, before it even becomes an issue, a prevention should just automatically exist because, hey, because you chose the Lord, now you have this super duper high moral standard that you're supposedly being held to. But the opposite is true. The opposite is true. This ideology attracts the very weirdos who engage in this behavior. And not only that, but your community is exactly the one that protects these weirdos, which is why you have to do this shit in the first place. Wouldn't it just be easier to let it all go? It's not true. There is no supernatural, super intelligent, super fucking thing. So when we talk about morality, how the fuck can these Christians ever hope to hold a candle to talking about morality when this is the reality of the situation, when their community is the rape culture of humanity? I've said this countless times. There is no greater rape culture than religion, specifically Christianity here in America. You will not find any other group that is more responsible for this type of behavior to such a degree that they have to spend literally billions of dollars in restitution to all of the people, and it's not even all of the people. Matter of fact, it's actually a small percentage of the people who they have victimized because so many people are afraid to come out, so many people have passed on, all these type of different things, statute of limitations in certain situations, people's egos, they're afraid or they're just too proud to admit that they were victimized because there's been so many people have been victimized for so many fucking years, for so long, across such amount of time across the world. And through it all, where is the Lord? Where is the Father, the Son, and the Holy fucking Spirit at? Where the fuck is the Holy Spirit at? I'm still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure it out. Like, think about this. Think about this. There's also a big divide between white evangelicals and other groups on the morality of homosexuality. 72% of white evangelicals say homosexuality is wrong, compared with 34% of all Catholics and 13% of religiously unaffiliated adults. Now, based on what? Based on what? For what? Why are y'all so against homosexuality? For what reason? Because you read a passage of some kind before? But I'm still asking you fuckers, where is the Lord? Where is the Lord? Check this out. In addition, white evangelicals are more likely than Americans who belong to most other religious groups, including those who describe themselves as atheist, agnostic, or nothing in particular, to take the position that it's morally wrong to have an abortion or to choose to end one's life with the help of a doctor. Based on what? Based on fucking what? Based on what? Because they have an ancient sci-fi fantasy novel that they've misinterpreted to assert some kind of version of this crap? I'm still trying to find this Lord thing that they're still obsessed with. But let's look at this final little section right here. I love this. And white evangelical Protestants are the least likely of the religious groups studied to say the death penalty is morally wrong, 20%. By contrast, 48% of atheists, 46% of black Protestants, and 42% of Jews consider the death penalty immoral. Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 See, this is where I have a major problem again. Didn't it just say earlier in this article? Didn't I find that quote for y'all? Let me find it for y'all again. We did not focus on behaviors that nearly everyone would likely say are morally wrong, like murder or stealing. Well, you kind of fooled me. Kind of fooled me, because death penalty seems like murder, right? I mean, you're killing somebody. You're taking the life of somebody. And see, here's my thing, right? I'm an atheist and an anti-theist, all right? I have mixed feelings about the death penalty, but this is where I stand. I agree with it in theory, but I don't agree with it in practice, because my position is one innocent person murdered is too many. And America has a storied fucking history of putting to death a lot of innocent people, particularly of my complexion. So with that by itself, I would never, ever, ever fucking support the death penalty. Because we live in a corrupt-ass country with a racist, sexist, just bigoted history of psychopathic Christians who want to push their retarded craziness on the rest of society, their antisocial views and immoral ideology on the rest of society. This is why I do what I do, because I don't want to hear any more fucking bullshit from these fucking loonies. Until they produce a shred of evidence for their supernatural, super intelligent, super thing, I don't see any good reason to subscribe to their bullshit ideology, to give any credence to their ideology, let alone their bullshit ass views. I don't care what they consider immoral or not, because based on what their bullshit ideology shows and the actual actions that they commit in real life, I don't trust them. I don't believe them. I don't respect them. Fuck all that shit. Straight like that. I know I probably sound like an asshole, and maybe perhaps I am. But what is the purpose of your ideology if it doesn't prevent any of this crap to begin with? If your view is so correct, why doesn't it just manifest when y'all are the majority, right? Y'all are the overwhelming majority of society. You are literally the biggest voting bloc. You are in the positions in Congress. You love this Jesus stuff, and yet zero of you Jesus freaks can show us this Jesus stuff at all. Literally at all. You can't show us the value of this Jesus stuff. You can't show us how this Jesus stuff helps us. You can't show us how we can use it to improve anything. You fucking cause a lot of divisiveness. As you can see, these people are completely divorced from reality and completely divorced from the social norms because they want to believe their crazy shit so fucking bad. But this is why we have to talk about it, because it is crazy. Somebody has to tell you, someone has to inform you that your belief is absurd, insane, and completely divorced from reality. If your belief was true, correct, sensible, reasonable, then a person like me would agree, and then I would be on your side, and I would be arguing your case for you, and I would probably make an even better case than y'all make. But y'all can't demonstrate the basics, the core of your entire ideology, the supposed existence of this supernatural entity. Y'all got all this fanfare, fucking fan fiction, theology shit all over the place. You have all these buildings. You have all these charlatans. You have all these supposed leaders and teachers and whatever the fuck. But throughout it all, zero demonstration of any supernatural anything. I haven't seen an angel, a demon, a cherub, a god, a Satan, a Lucifer, a Michael, a Gabriel, or any of that fucking crazy shit that y'all be talking about. None of it. I don't see the value of it. I don't see how it actually helps us improve in any way as a society. I don't see how it actually helps to strengthen our social fabric. I don't see how it has strengthened our social fabric. What I see is a lot of fucking like social like separation, a lot of isolation. People feeling more isolated than ever before because of all these different aspects of technology and media. But if your claims were so real and so true, wouldn't you be able to show us, like, right now? It's literally 5:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't see any supernatural anything anywhere. Not a single theist has demonstrated any of their theistic theological craziness at all. Not one time. Ever. So why are we listening to what y'all have to say about morality at all? Your morality is based on an ideology that is completely divorced from reality itself. Which means there is no good reason for taking your view with any credence of any kind. So there's a lot more stuff on this list. You know what I'm saying? There's more pages. There's more demographics, you know, old and young and stuff like that. But I'm an anti-theist, atheist. I focus more on stuff like that because these are, epistemological claims, right? These are claims about our reality that these groups make, and they have such huge influence on legislation. They own vast amounts of wealth. I mean, we're talking about a multi-trillion dollar industry. The greatest scam in the history of the fucking world. 2/3 of the population participate in the scam. So many people, so many children continuously get victimized by these fucking weirdos, and not a single Christian can figure out a solution despite them claiming to have a direct connection to the ultimate super intelligent weapon of all time. How could that be? Why are there fucking pastors, the pastor pipeline falling apart like we talked about yesterday? How could this be possible if what you are saying is literally accurate and correct? How is this remotely possible? Why are Christians constantly attacking each other in real life right now? Why do y'all disagree? Why was there the Protestant Reformation in the first place? Why would you need a Reformation if the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was real and so true and could keep y'all on the fucking same page? Why is it that there's so many denominations that have their own different interpretations if what y'all were saying was literally correct and accurate? Who is correct? Which one of you is accurate, and how do we figure it out? Which one of you is actually telling the truth? I'll tell you which one is telling the truth. Not a single one of you, because zero of you can demonstrate any of the cockamamie nonsense that y'all purport, that you have purported for literally thousands of years, or however long your particular brand of delusion has existed. Because some of these Mormons, they're within the past couple hundred years or whatever. Zero of them have demonstrated any of their crap. Zero of them. Not one time. I mean, literally not one. Out of billions of people, 2.4 billion Christians, not one has demonstrated anything Christ-like, Christ-concerning, Christ-centric, Christ anything. There's no Christ anywhere. There's just us. That's it. It's us. There's us. There is no supernature. If there is a supernature, it's something we're going to have to create. And the only way we would create supernature is by improving our understanding of regular nature itself first. You don't just magically just figure out some aspect of the substrate of reality and then demonstrate, then act like, oh, well, because you magically just figured it out, therefore you can just magically figure everything else out, or else you would have already magically figured everything out, and I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be wowed by your amazing magic, and I would be enthralled in everything that you do, and I would be supporting you. But because y'all have nothing, you're full of shit, and you need to knock it the fuck off. I don't care about your views. I don't. Your views are crap. Your views are inconsistent. On one hand, you're sitting here acting like you have this wonderful view, like, oh, because you are against abortion, that is somehow super duper morally superior to everybody. And y'all will support fucking psychos who will engage in violent acts for this fucking anti-abortion shit. And then y'all don't even really demonstrate what the actual value of your anti-abortion position actually is. Y'all act like y'all care so much about the children, but you don't demonstrate the same passion for the children of the nation who currently exist today. Y'all do not have this passion to ensure that all the children of the nation have all of their needs met right now. If y'all had this same passion, at least I could say y'all were consistent. But you're not. Y'all have more passion for unborn children than actually born children. If a mass shooting happens today or tomorrow or on Tuesday at a school, y'all gonna give y'all useless thoughts and prayers and then you'll move on like y'all always do. Y'all don't be doing all of this fucking protesting and fighting and blowing people up and kidnapping people to protect the children who do exist right now. You only do it when it comes to this abortion shit. That is weird. That is so weird. And then here's the bigger point in regards to that. Even if I granted you your ridiculous bullshit retarded religion and all that, your views and all that shit, whatever. Why is it that y'all don't actually want to work to help improve the fabric of society, to improve the quality of life for everyone, so that you can actually lower the demand for abortion in the first place? Why do you think people want to get abortions? Because it's fucking Tuesday? Maybe in some cases. Maybe in some cases that might be correct. But if that's true, why do you care so much about that? Why do you care so much about somebody else? What about you? Right? Like, why aren't you working to ensure that, say, all children in America are being healthily fed and not going without? Why can't y'all do shit like that? Why can't y'all be focused and passionate about stuff like that? You willing to blow up an abortion clinic, but you completely ignore the children that are starving in the middle of the street? And you want me to respect your retarded ass? You get the fuck out of my fucking face. The hell is wrong with y'all? Shut the fuck up with this crazy shit. Until you can produce a Father, a Son, and or a Holy Spirit, the Triune Trinity, Triumvirate, Triforce, Trio, Tri Amigos, whatever the fuck you call this shit, until you can provide the exact current whereabouts right now, at any point in time in the near future, until you can provide the exact coordinates, until you can provide the specific and precise methodology that you can implement to literally locate this super thing that y'all are obsessed with, y'all need to shut the hell up. Straight like that. Y'all need to knock it off with this craziness. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to hear your crybaby bitching and moaning and hoeing and all that crying, wailing, bailing, flailing and all that shit. I don't care. All I care about is reality. All I care about is what is actually correct, accurate, true. Okay? I don't have a need to be right? I'm not somebody who, I hold this position because I'm just so passionate about this position. I reached this position based on straight up logic, data, information, education, studying actual reality things, right? Actually reading the Bible, right? That's why I know this 1 Samuel 15 passage, because I read it. An atheist like me showed me this passage, and I couldn't, in good conscience, could comport with that as what I think to be a decent human being. As a Christian at the time, I'm like, I am totally against child murder, but yet here it is, a passage where it says the Lord said, and look, in case you weren't here earlier, it literally says here, this is what the Lord Almighty says. It says it right there. Go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them, do not spare them, put to death men and women, children and infants. Children and infants. Children and infants. So, I just don't get it. This is what your shit says. But I mean, because when I was a Christian, right, I had read this passage, had read it in the King James Version, but when you're already a Christian and you're already like brainwashed into it, indoctrinated into it, you gloss over shit like this. It doesn't even register in your brain like that. It wasn't until an actual atheist literally directly challenged me and said, hey, what about this passage right here? You know, because he gave me a questionnaire to ask me to account for all the different like flaws and contradictions in the Bible, but I got to this exact portion, and I just, as what I think to be a good person, I just can't justify killing children and infants, let alone innocent men and women, right? Who ain't have nothing to do with it. Like, I'm like, fam, I know I'm not the biggest genius in the world, but I'm pretty sure I could think of a better solution than killing children and babies. Like, how about we, you know, and then I'm not saying this is good, but how about if we kidnap them and raise them as our own, maybe? And then we could be like, hey, this is the way you go about doing stuff. You know, because our ideas, our way is the righteous, truest way. So why not just bring the children into the fold? And then we can build our army to indoctrinate them with our super duperly awesomely wonderful ways. No, this motherfucker says kill them all. And then y'all, this is your Lord, so clearly you support this. You have to. You can't be a Christian and try to denounce this shit. Because then you're denouncing the Lord. And if you denounce the Lord, well, what kind of Christian are you? You can try that this is the Old Testament shit, but that doesn't work. Because if you have a precedent for the Lord having done something that in modern times anyone would claim is immoral, right? That according to this article, most people would say is immoral, but yet this is part of your Lord that you believe in. How do you account for your completely confused state? Your book says this, you say that, and neither this or that is helpful at all. If you're really against abortion as you claim, trying to force people to not engage in it legally does not solve the problem. Sure, you could say you've reduced the number of abortions that occur, but if your goal is to completely eradicate abortion, you can't do it by force. All you're doing is forcing people who really want to get abortions to engage in unhealthy methods to do so, which isn't that completely like counterintuitive to what you're seeking to accomplish, to eradicate abortion altogether? Don't you want people to not even want to engage in abortion? So then why would you push them to have to engage in not only an abortion, but in an unhealthy one? So, long and short of it is, people are completely divorced from reality, and I'm fucking sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of these, people who like to pretend like they have these superior moral values. But when it comes down to it, you can't justify any of that crap. Your moral standards are disgusting. Straight like that. Horrible. That's why I'm an anti-theist. I have literally had debates with Christians about this particular passage, and I have literally encountered Christians who literally try to justify the shit. They actually attempt to justify this kind of fucking behavior. And it just goes to show you the evilness, the disgustingness of theism. that it can cause people to suspend their critical thinking skills in order to be a sheep and accept antisocial behavior. So when you see these situations where children are getting abused in churches and people are helping to cover it up, that's why it happens. That's why it happens. But more importantly, as I always ask, where is the Lord? What is the point of all of this shit? What is the point of this religious shit? What does it actually accomplish? If we strip everything away, what does Christianity literally aim to accomplish? And what we saw yesterday, at least according to that one passage, their goal is to glorify the Lord. That's their goal. And it's like, okay, where is the fucking Lord? Where the hell is the Lord? And how do you know that you're glorifying it? What method do you have to demonstrate that it is being sufficiently glorified? And why the fuck should we give a fuck? How does glorifying the Lord cure cancer? How does glorifying the Lord combat climate change? How does glorifying the Lord stop child rape? Because if you ask me, glorifying the Lord seems to promote child rape, protect child rape. Because so many cases, it's these types of people protecting child rape. I mean, we see it so many fucking times in so many cases, and it's just so like sad to see all of these cases where so many children are being harmed, where so many harmful people are being put in positions where they can commit these kinds of crimes. Like this fucking weirdo. Right? Look at the date. Oh, would you look at that? That's today, May 16th. At 1:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, that was 12:44 p.m. Central Standard Time, by Patrick Damp, retired Pittsburgh area priest and former state police chaplain, charged with guess fucking what? Guess what? The same fucking shit they always get charged with. A retired Catholic priest who also served as a Pennsylvania state police chaplain has been arrested and charged with guess what? Sexual crimes that date back more than a decade. According to the criminal complaint provided to KDKA-TV, 84-year-old Robert Burns was charged with aggravated indecent assault, obstruction of administration of law or other governmental functions, and official oppression. The criminal complaint states that in March, a man came forward and reported to state police that while he was working at Christ Our Shepherd, he had been sexually assaulted by Burns. According to the man's recounting, while working in the kitchen, he was bent over at an ice machine when Burns put his hand down the back of his pants and began to assault him. Fam. This is every day. This is every single day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every single day, damn near. And I just keep asking, where was the Lord? Where was the Lord? Christians, where is the Lord? How about that right now? If we say, you know what, let's just ignore everything that's happened in the past. Where's the Lord right now to say, you know what, let's stop everything from henceforth? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where exactly is it? Where is it? I just want to know where exactly it is so that we can, confirm that it's there, and that it's actually like doing the things that y'all claim that it does. I just don't get it. Oh, is this different? Is this the same? Hold up. Okay, that's the same. It's the same story. Yeah, fam, like it just drives me fucking crazy that we see so many of these horrible, disgusting stories. You feel what I'm saying? We see so many of these stories, and I don't see any supernatural super thing coming through, swooping in to save the day. It's too many people. It's too many children getting harmed for no good reason whatsoever. That's why I do what I do. Because what the fuck is the point? What is the point? I don't get it. How do we improve the world with this ideology that doesn't prevent any of this stuff that we have been talking about right now? How are we supposed to make the world a better place when y'all don't know where your supernatural super thing is and you just make up all this bullshit from this made up shit that was made up to begin with? All of it is made up. That's why all it takes is a basic question. Where exactly is the Lord right now? And all theism falls apart. Because they don't have an actual answer that they can literally demonstrate right now, other than I don't know. Because that's all they demonstrate. They don't fucking know. It's the only thing that they do demonstrate is that they don't fucking know. Because if they did know, why is it so hard for them to show us right now? Show me right now. You ain't even got to show the world. Just show me. Show me. I keep it. If it's really that secretive, I keep your secret safe. I keep your secret safe. But no, this is what I'm saying. If the goal is to protect the youth, if the goal is to protect the children, this is not how you go about it. Because literally children are getting harmed. They're actually getting harmed. Okay, check this out. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, we have so many of these stories, fam. Look at this shit. Former Vandalia Christian school teacher faces 10 more. 10 more. This is from about a week ago, right? Early in the week. Monday the 11th, right? So it's not even a week ago. It's just earlier this week. This past Monday. Former Vandalia Christian school teacher faces 10 more child sex exploitation charges because he already had some. But see, he is just such a weirdo. They just found out he got even more, right? He was using AI to create CSAM, okay? And this is a Christian school teacher. And then there was another article that caught my attention. Let me see here. Former Vandalia Christian school student speaks out after former teachers arrest sex crime accusations. Okay. I guess they don't have anything here. What the fuck is this? I guess there's supposed to be a video or some shit, and it's just not showing up. I don't know. I don't know what that's about, y'all. But the point is that this shit is constantly happening, and these fools fail to show us how Christianity can help us, despite the fact that so many Americans are Christians. And so the whole point is, what is the point of Americans being Christian if they can't show us how their ideology prevents all of this shit, stops all of this shit, ends all of this shit right now? How? Because there's been no self regulation, right? The Constitution, it doesn't grant them religious freedom, because if religious freedom was religiously free, there'd be all kinds of rape and murder and mayhem, as we see, right? We needed the FACE Act to stop these psychos from blowing shit up and murdering people because they didn't like that people were getting abortions, despite the fact that supposedly the Lord loves it. The Lord tells people to do it. And they think that the Lord somehow doesn't, but they believe the Lord does, but they can't show the Lord at all. So what the hell? They're just psychopaths. They're just antisocial. And more importantly, they're just wrong. They're all wrong. I don't care if you're talking about conservative, liberal, whatever. Zero of them. Democrats, Republican, man, woman, age, old, whatever the fuck, young, old, man, woman, black, white, Anglo-Saxon, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, whatever. All Christians are wrong. All theists are wrong. Every single one of you are wrong. Knock it off with this ridiculous belief. Y'all have nothing. You have nothing. You will never have anything because it is not true. It is not real. If you could demonstrate it to us in real life, in real time, you would be able to show us. I mean, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Congressman's son wants a national campaign against Trump attacks on black women. And look at this. Look at what it says. Look at what it says. From the Sunday morning pulpit on Mother's Day at St. James United Methodist Church, one of the most respected and better known churches in Kansas City, the Reverend Emmanuel Cleaver III put out a call to action for all men in town. Join me next Sunday after worship at 11 a.m., the church's senior pastor said. This will only be in person. It will not be recorded because the revolution will not be televised. Ew. Because there's this dude in the White House who continues to disrespect black women, and I think it is time for black men to do something about it. I think it is time for black men to make a stand because black women are under attack. Hey, whoa. Time out, my guy. Time out, time out, time out, time out. Why don't you just call upon the Lord? Aren't y'all supposed to be on the same side? Aren't y'all both Christian? I mean, look, I can show you, and this is one thing I'm going to show y'all before I get off of here. This is why I get lost as to why Christians are always constantly going at it with each other, right? Because check this. This is from last year. President Trump's top 100 victories for people of faith. Isn't that gentleman not a person of faith? Shouldn't he be looking at a list like this and being like, wow, look at what President Donald Trump did for us people of faith. He established the historic White House Faith Office for us people of faith. He created the Centers for Faith for us people of faith. He established the Religious Liberty Commission for us people of faith. He appointed leaders of all faiths to the Religious Liberty Commission for us people of faith. He established the task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias specifically for us Christians, of which I, this gentleman who is attacking Trump, am also a Christian. All this fucking shit, bro. Pardon Christians and pro-life activists, all this fucking retarded shit. Aren't y'all all Christians? Why are y'all going back and forth? Where's the fucking Lord? Why the fuck is the Lord always failing to keep you goofies in check and keep y'all on the same page? Because it ain't there. Knock it off. It's not real. If the Lord was real, you wouldn't need any of this. You wouldn't need any of this faith-based garbage because it would just be truth-based. It wouldn't be faith-based. It would be truth-based. It would be demonstrable. It would be obvious. You could show me, I would be right there with you. I was there with you. I was a Christian for 6 years, but I'm not there with you because I got an education and realized you were all full of shit. That's why it's so easy. Where's the Lord? Where is the Lord? Where is the Lord? Where is the Father, the Son, and or the Holy Spirit right now? Show us. Don't tell me. Show me. Show the world. Show us all. Where exactly is it if it's so fucking real? Show us right now. And if you can't, shut the fuck up forever. Because you are full of shit and it has gotten old. It's beyond old. Thousands of years. Billions of Christians. Zero Christ anywhere. Zero theists. Zero theists, supernatural, super thing anywhere. Zero deities anywhere. Not one time. Doesn't matter. Pick your brand of delusion. They're all fucking phony and fake and useless. What is the point? 0 point. There's literally no point. That's why they can't point to anything. That's why even though they'll say, oh, how can you believe the universe came from nothing? No, it's y'all that believe the universe came from nothing. Because this God thing that y'all believe in is literally nothing. It's actually nothing. It is nothing. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's not true. Knock it off. If theism was real, if Christianity was real, this would have long been established. There would be no point in disagreeing. There would be no disagreement. A person like me couldn't fucking make you look stupid as fuck by highlighting your inability to demonstrate a single shred of your claims. You'd just be showing us your claims, and then you would be right and I would be wrong, and I would literally admit to the world that I was wrong because you showed us your reasonable data points, and I, as a reasonable person, can't reject your reasonable data points because it's reasonable and I'm a reasonable person. So knock it off. Knock it off. You are the ones who are making it difficult for us to work together interdependently with synergy to create a well-functioning society for ourselves because y'all are delusional. You're delusional. You're living a lie. You subscribe to an ideology that does not comport with our reality, that is not real, that is not true, that is not useful, that is not helpful, that is not insightful, that is based on nothing. That is unjustifiable. It is factless. It is literally untrue. It's untrue. So stop believing it. We are in the modern age. If your belief system was true, you could show me. You would not need to get emotional. You would not need to get all angry and get all in your fucking feelings and get your panties in a bunch. You can just show me the stuff you're talking about. I would be like, wow, there it is. Boom. You're right. I'm wrong. I have no problem admitting to being wrong. Because all I want to be is accurate. And if your view is accurate, show me. That's all it is. Just show us right now. So thank y'all for coming through. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stop being bitch-ass simps for psycho narcos. Have some self-respect and self-love. And let's bring some sense to this crazy-ass world once and for all. Shall we? Holla back at your motherfucking boy, man.